Welcome everyone, today we have a new Diablo 4 guide for the Barbarian for the Silver Slam. As you can see behind me, I have prepared 3 very interesting Barbarian build, and this is for the level 22 or level 20 build with 2 renown points. Now over here, we'll be going through the nodes of the Barbarian update and also test things out with Barbarian with the latest changes for the Silver Slam. And also we'll be going through some of the legendary aspects and so codexes because we know the rates of dropping those are back to normal. So it's quite interesting to see what is the must-haves and also what are the optional ones for us to have for each of the build. Now before I dive into the builds, I do want to apologize for not posting as many videos on Diablo 4 guys. I did get a little busy with the other game Hong Kong Impact on the other channel. If you haven't seen it, check it out, I'll be making a lot of guides. But I'll be back to make more guides for each of the class for Diablo for the Silver Slam, and also to make a leveling guide for all the classes so you can level 20 very fast within the 2 days and get the most out of the game. So let's come over to the patch notes first. So we can see that Barbarian has gotten a damage reduction from the monsters, and this is actually not bad. So that means we can have more close range combat by 10% damage reduction. Now the Whirlwind skill is fixed or adjusted for more damage and also consumes more fury. This actually reminds me really much of the perks over here. So if you have a look at the perks for the Barbarian, there's one, the core spell deals 135% more damage but costs 100 more fury. So this is like a mini buff to the Whirlwind, which we're gonna look in the Whirlwind. Now the double swing skill now refunds full fury. I'm not really sure how to use of that, so let me know in the comments about this one guys. I didn't build the double swing build for the testing of the Silver Slam. Now because Barbarians got a damage reduction buff and also Whirlwind buff, we're gonna go with the Whirlwind Barbarian for the first build. So you can see over here 5 points into Whirlwind. Now we'll be going with 1 point into Frenzy, and also Frenzy provide us with damage reduction. So this will provide us with more damage reduction and also more fury, because Whirlwind will cost more fury. Now 5 points into Whirlwind and also provide more fury. And also now Whirlwind will deal 30% more damage, so our major source of AoE targeting will be Whirlwind. Now we do have a Spirit point over here, and I want to get into some vulnerability, so 1 point into Pressure Point will give us some really decent vulnerability, because we deal a lot of instance of damage with Whirlwind. As we keep going, we'll go with Rally Cry and also Shouting, Challenging Shout, so we want to get a few shouts going. Rally Cry will provide us with more fury and also Unstoppable and also Fortified Life, which is really good. And as for Challenging Shout, we'll provide ourselves with bonus HP, and also as we take damage, we also gain fury. So not only it's defensive, it's also offensive. Notice I'm trying to compensate for the lack of fury because of the change of the Whirlwind. Now over here, we're also going to War Cry to provide us with increased damage with Berserk and also to provide us with more Fortify. I didn't go into the additional damage with at least 6 enemies, because with Whirlwind you don't care about more enemies. Now why I'm going for all the War Cries is because we also have legendary aspects for the War Cries, and also the War Cries are the most cost efficient for 1 skill point. Now over here, you might be wondering, aren't you short on like single target damage? Yes, so this is why 1 point will be going to Death Blow, and Death Blow allowed us to deal more damage to enemies, especially single target, and also to one-shot them. No, I don't think I have a spray point into the Death Blow deal 100% to the bosses, but if I do, and if you guys can adjust for this one, go for this as well, because I actually went for the vulnerability over here to do more damage. Now the aspects for the Whirlwind build is very straightforward. You want to get critical chances for the Whirlwind, and this is the core aspects, so this will give you close to 100% critical chance if you have this on the 2-hand weapon. After that, everything is pretty straightforward. You can deal more damage to the primary resource when casting, and also over here basic skills increase your core skill damage. Now it is also optional to go with Whirlwind can summon one of the engines, but those 3 are optional. The one you need during the lower rate of the drop rate with the Silver Slam is definitely going to be this one. If you get this one, you can try the Whirlwind build. Now over here we can also go with some damage reduction and also some additional fury, and also additional fury with shouts, which is really good because we have all the shouts. And also additional core skill refunds fury, and also reduction to the shot cooldown. So notice that I'm trying to use as much as we can with the limited skill points, and this way we get to try all the shouts with Whirlwind, and we also have some decent single target damage with Deathly Bow. Now coming over to a second build, and yes guys, you might have guessed we're going with Thorn Barbarian. So our Thorn Barbarian will be going with a lot of good perks, and this works for level 22 or level 20 with the renown points. So as for the Thorn Barbarian, we'll go with 1 point into Flay, and also Flay will provide us with 50 more Thorn, up to 4 times, so that's easily 200 Thorn. After that, we're going to 1 point into Rend. Now, it's not a big deal to which one you want to go into, but Rind also provides us with vulnerability, and also we get some more fury. Now, coming over to the defensive section, this is the biggest part. So what you're going to see is we'll be going with additional life, because over here the perks provide us with bonus thorn and also bonus thorn for a maximum life bonus. And here we go with additional thorn and also provide ourselves to deal more bleeding damage. Now, if you have seen our previous Thorn build, this is a slight adjustment because we have a few less points. We're still going with Rally Cry because this will provide us with movement speed and also a bit more fury. Now here we'll go with Challenging Shot. This is actually offensive skill with a Thorn build, because we're going with the shot provide maximum life, which means more life and also more Thorn. And here we'll be getting additional Thorn equal to maximum life by 50%. So when you cast Challenging Shot, you're unkillable and also you deal tons of damage. Now, in order to get some mobility, we'll go with Leap for one of the skill point. And finally, in order to get more single target damage, we'll go with Death Blow as well. This is really good against the boss, elites, and any monsters that's not dying because of the Thorn. Unfortunately, we can't go into the Core of the Ancients. That'll be really good for the build as well. Now, in order to make the Thorn build work, we just need one very special legendary aspects. And this one we cannot craft it during the Server Slam. So this is one that allows your Thorn damage to deal AoE around you. And what we'll be doing is we'll be gambling gloves for this one. I'll consider if we play Barbarian on the first class. So if you get this one, you can make the build work. The build is very simple. And over here, if you do get additional damage when you stand still, this is also really good. Now, if you find yourself a little weaker against enemies because you're losing too much HP, this particular legendary aspect allows you to heal for tons of life. So definitely consider going this one for the defensive aspects. Now coming over to our third Barbarian build, and this one will be a bleeding build. What a surprise, right? So over here we'll go with 5 points into Rind. And this is quite straightforward. We'll go with Flay, which provides us with more Rind damage. And as for the 5 points into Rind, we'll provide more Fury when we hit enemies with Rind. Now over here, we'll be going with the Ground Stomp, because we want to stun enemies, and when enemies are stunned, we deal more bleeding damage. And we'll go with Rally Cry to provide us with more Fury, and also Rally Cry provide us with even more Fury. This allows us to, do tons of damage with bleeding. Now, in order to enjoy the slow effect buff for the bonus damage, we'll make sure bleeding enemies are also slow by 10%, and also we have a spare point over here. So we do additional damage reduction and also additional damage to close enemies. Now, as for the aspects and also codex for the bleeding build, it's actually quite straightforward. You don't have any core aspects you must have, but this one's really good. So if we stun bleeding enemies, we will deal additional damage to as them physical damage. So this means we can deal additional damage. So this is why we want Ground Stomp to be stumping enemies for a long time. And over here you can just see the basics. I get a bit of increased damage, a bit of additional damage for stunned enemies, and over here we deal more damage, and also here we have increased critical chance against injured enemies, and also crowd controlled. Now, because we know the rate of the legendaries will be really low, I try to not have too many legendaries for you guys to find, and if you do find yourself a little weaker, go for the basic skill that reduces damage by 25%. This is really good. So let me know what you guys think about the 3 build for the Barbarian. Which one would you be trying, and would you play Barbarian as your first class for the Server Slam? Now before you go, and if you guys didn't know, we have a new YouTube channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and check out the behind the scenes and also fun clips and also more stories about us. And then you get to know me a little more personally instead of just reading the news and also the games, right? So I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So make sure you check this channel out if you're interested about Matt and also Uni. She's really funny too, and she's really shy. So I want to give her a surprise and do a shout out for the new channel to get some subscribers. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.